They say the forest remembers every name it hears, and it never forgets. A voice that answers back. This is the story of the last group that went into Black Hollow and did not all return. It begins with 4 friends, ordinary people, who thought the woods were only trees and shadows, no more dangerous than the dark inside a bedroom. Their names are Adil, Sarah, Hamza, and Nur. They are the kind of friends who share everything. Music playlists, secrets at 2 in the morning, stupid jokes that can break tension in any room. And now they share one more thing, a decision to camp in a place every local tells them to avoid. They drive in as evening falls, the sky fading from gold to a deep blue that feels heavy and close. The road narrows, the trees lean in from both sides, branches knitting together above the car, turning the world into a long tunnel of bark and leaves. They laugh about it, say it feels like a horror movie opening, the kind where the audience already knows something is wrong, but the characters do not, yet. The locals at the last petrol station tried to warn them. An old woman with gray hair and sharp eyes had watched them buy supplies. She had spoken softly, almost kindly. She had said, "Do not camp near the crooked tree. Do not stay if you hear your name after midnight. And whatever happens, do not answer if the forest speaks first." They thought it was superstition, a story to keep kids out of the woods. Adil smiled and promised they would be careful. Sarah thanked her and tried not to roll her eyes. Hamza joked about filming a ghost. Nur stayed quiet and kept looking back as they drove away, as if expecting the woman to say something else. She did not. By the time they reached the edge of Black Hollow, the sun is gone. Only a faint light remains. Like the last breath of day, they park at a small clearing, step out into air that is cooler than it should be, and for a moment, they all stand still, not speaking. The forest ahead of them is silent. Too silent. No birds, no insects. Only the slow hush of wind moving through leaves, as if the trees are breathing together. They hike a short distance, find a spot near an old oak with a crooked trunk, thick roots twisting out of the earth like fingers. The tree looks wrong. Its branches are bare at the tips, even though it is not winter. The bark is dark and cracked, but the clearing is flat enough for tents, so they decide it is perfect. They do not mention the old woman's warning about a crooked tree. Maybe they forgot it. Maybe they chose to. They set up camp, metal poles, fabric snapping in the breeze, the soft thump of boots on soil. Adil lights a fire. The flame flickers, catches, grows, throwing gold light onto faces and tree trunks. Hamza sets up his camera on a tripod. He wants to make a vlog, something dramatic. City kids in the haunted forest. Sarah teases him while she unpacks food. Nur sits close to the fire, arms wrapped around her knees, watching how the shadows move at the edge of the clearing, thin and long like stretched silhouettes. As night deepens, the forest seems to draw closer. The darkness between the trunks thickens, turning into a wall that reflects nothing back. The fire pops and sends sparks upward, tiny orange stars that vanish before they reach the branches. They eat, talk, tell stories, laugh a little too loudly, as if noise can keep fear away. Hamza records everything, the jokes, the nervous glances into the trees, the way the air feels heavier every time the wind dies. At first nothing happens, and that is almost worse. Time stretches. The quiet becomes a pressure on their ears. Adil checks his watch. It is nearly midnight. Sarah shivers and blames the temperature. Hamza extends the camera battery, determined to capture something, anything. Nora keeps looking at the crooked oak. She does not know why, but she feels as if the tree is listening. Tenets start, so softly that they almost miss it. A low whisper, far away, like the sound of someone speaking under their breath from a distance. They stop talking. The fire crackles. 4 sets of eyes turn toward the dark line of trees. The whisper stops. Adil tells everyone it is the wind. He says it twice, as if saying it again will make it more true. Hamza points to the camera toward the forest. Zooms in. He sees nothing but shifting shadows. Minutes pass. Then it comes again, clearer this time. From somewhere just beyond the last ring of firelight, a voice, thin and distant, like someone calling through a tunnel. It says a single word. Quietly, it says, N-O-O. No one moves. Noor feels all the warmth leave her body. The name is hers, but it does not sound like any person she knows. It is Tuzlo, each letter stretched. The sound wrapped in the rustle of leaves. Adil forces a laugh, says, "Maybe someone else is camping nearby. Maybe a coincidence." Sarah says, "Who else would be out here?" Hamza whispers that the voice came from the wrong side. There is no road there, no path, only trees. The voice does not repeat. They wait for it, hearts beating hard. But the forest goes silent again. A heavy, watching silence. Finally, Adil says they are all tired. They should sleep. They will laugh about this in the morning. They put out the fire until only embers remain, retreat into their tents, the thin fabric suddenly feeling far too fragile between them and the night. Inside, Noor lies awake, listening. Every tiny sound becomes something else. The rustle of leaves turns into footsteps. The creak of branches becomes breathing. She closes her eyes, opens them, checks her phone. No signal. Only the faint glow of the screen. She tries to calm herself. Tells herself it was a trick of sound. Maybe Adil or Hamza, though she knows it did not sound like them. Outside, the forest breathes and waits. The second voice comes near 2 in the morning. This time it is Adil who hears it first. A soft scraping near his tent, like fingers pulling slowly across the outer fabric. He holds his breath. The scraping stops. He tells himself it is a branch, nothing more. Then a whisper seeps through the material. Close. So close, it feels like it is inside the tent with him. It says his name. Not loud, not angry, just patient. A-D-E-E-L. He does not answer. His throat is too dry. His tongue feels heavy. He does not even dare to breathe loudly. The whisper comes again. Same tone, same slow cadence. Adil, right here. Open the tent. He squeezes his eyes shut, counts in his head. 1 to 10, then to 30, then to 60. When he finally opens his eyes, the sound has stopped. He waits until the first faint gray of dawn touches the fabric before unzipping the entrance with shaking hands. In the weak morning light, the clearing looks almost normal. Almost. The fire pit is cold. Their bags are where they left them. But something feels off. The forest seems closer. The crooked oak seems taller. Its branches bent inward, as if leaning over their camp. He looks down at his tent, notices thin streaks on the fabric. 4 parallel lines, faintly darker than the rest, like marks left by something damp and heavy. He tells himself it is mud. At breakfast. No one admits what they heard. Not at first. They speak carefully, as if loud words might draw something nearer. Then Sarah breaks. She says she heard someone walking around the tents, stopping, listening. Noor whispers that her name was called again, softer than before, like a question. Hamza checks his footage. His hands are not steady. He scrubs through the video from the night. At first, there's nothing but their chatter and jokes. Then later, as the fire dies down, there is a faint sound under the rustle of leaves. A voice, stretched and warped by distance, saying, "Near." Then, later, on the audio, quiet, but clear, Adil, right here. Open tea tent. They all stare at the camera. No one laughing now. Adil suggests they pack and leave. The others agree. There is no argument. But when they try to find the path back to the car, the forest does not match their memory. What was a short trail yesterday seems longer now. The trees crowd closer together, branches arching overhead, blocking the sky. The light feels wrong, muted, as if something thick hangs in the air. They walk in what they think is a straight line, turning where they remember turning. But after an hour, all they have found are more trees. The crooked oak, no longer visible. The clearing gone. Hamza checks the GPS on his phone. It shows a blank space. No signal. The map frozen. He lifts the camera, records their faces, the tightness in their jaws, the fear nobody wants to name. As midday passes and the light shifts, the forest begins to feel like a living thing, not just a place. Every trunk looks the same. Every direction repeats itself. Adil marks a tree with a knife, a small cut in the bark. They walk for 20 minutes, turn several times, and somehow come back to the same marked trunk, the cut oozing sap, like a slow, bleeding wound. Nora feels a pressure behind her eyes, a growing headache, as if something is pressing in from all sides. The first argument starts then. Adil says they should keep moving. They will find the car eventually. Sarah insists they should stay in one place and wait. Someone will notice they are missing. Hamza says they should follow the sound of water. There must be a stream leading somewhere. Nur sits down on a root, hands pressed to her temples, and whispers that the forest does not want them to leave. They all hear her. None of them know what to say. As the light starts to fade again, they admit what they already know. They are lost. Truly lost. They decide to make another camp. A smaller fire this time. As if afraid of drawing attention, Hamza keeps the camera rolling. Maybe out of habit. Maybe because part of him believes, if this feels like a movie, then it can only end like one, with credits and safety. The forest does not care about his belief. That night, the voices change. They are no longer distant, no longer gentle. The forest calls each of them by name, taking turns, the sound moving from tree to tree, one moment near, the next far, sometimes behind them, sometimes above, always just beyond sight. The tone is strange, not angry, not kind, simply insistent, like something that has waited for too long and is tired of pretending to be patient. Adil tries to ignore it. He sits by the fire, jaw clenched, staring into the flames. Then the voice shifts. It uses Sarah's voice instead. The same pitch, the same cadence, calling his name from the shadows, begging him to come help, saying she is hurt. He nearly runs to her before he sees the real Sarah sitting across from him, eyes wide, hearing the same imitation of her own words coming from the dark. Nur begins to cry quietly, not loud sobs, just tears sliding down her face. She keeps her hands over her ears, but it does not help. The voices are inside her head as much as outside. She hears her mother calling her from between the trees, hears childhood phrases, soft scoldings, gentle laughter. The forest is digging through her memories, using them, bending them. Hamza shouts that it is just a trick, sound bouncing through the branches. He yells into the darkness, tells it to stop. The forest answers by repeating his words back to him, but twisted, slower, wrong. Then the voice says something he has not said out loud for years, something he only ever thought when he was alone. A private fear, spoken in his own tone. Adil and Sarah look at him, confusion and fear mixing on their faces. Hamza falls silent. The camera is shown on his own shaking hands. The night stretches. Time loses meaning. They do not know when they fall asleep, only that they wake to a new kind of wrong. The fire is dead. Their tents are intact, but Nur is missing. Her sleeping bag is empty. Her backpack is gone. There are no footprints, no signs of a struggle, only a small circle of cleared earth near the edge of the camp, as if someone stood very still there for a long time. Watching Sarah calls her name. Obert and Obert, the sound breaks in her throat. Adil tells her to stop. Each call feels like an invitation. The forest listens to every word. They search in widening circles, staying within sight of each other. They find nothing. No fabric snagged on branches. No dropped phone. No trail. As if Nur simply stepped out of the world. HMZA checks the camera. The last recording of the night shows them eventually lying down. The fire a low glow, the sounds of breathing, and the occasional crack of wood. Then sometime in the hours after midnight, a shape appears at the edge of the frame. Tall and thin, darker than the darkness around it. It does not walk. It seems to unfold from the shadow of a tree. Simply, there one moment where there was nothing before. Its outline is not clear, but the air around it bends, as if light does not want to touch it. The shape stands for a long time, motionless, watching. Then it leans, not forward, but inward, toward the sleeping form of Noor. Her body shifts slightly. Her breath quickens. The shape does not move like a person. It ripples, like smoke held in one form. Then it straightens, steps back into the tree line, and vanishes without a sound. A few minutes later, Noor sits up, eyes open, not fully awake. She stands, walks out of frame, her posture wrong, too stiff, as if pulled by strings. The others do not stir, do not wake. The recording ends with the empty campsite and the slow rise and fall of 3 sleeping bodies. They watch the video in silence, the daytime forest around them suddenly feeling far more dangerous than the night. Sarah whispers that this is not possible. Adil says they need to keep moving, find a road, a river. Any sign of the outside world? Hamza says nothing. He keeps glancing at the trees, as if expecting that dark shape to appear again at any moment. As they walk, the forest tightens, the undergrowth thickens. Branches lower themselves, forcing them to duck, to bow, like trespassers. In a place that demands respect, the air grows heavy, damp. Every breath feels like inhaling something old and stale. They call Noor's name a few times, but each call feels wrong. The sound swallowed instantly. No echo, no response. Only the constant, quiet rustle of leaves that might be wind, and might be something else. The second disappearance happens without a sound. One moment they are 3 people moving through the trees. The next moment Hamza is gone. Adil and Sarah do not notice it at first. They are arguing about direction. Adil insisting on the path ahead. Sarah saying she saw a broken branch that looked familiar to the left. They turn in a full circle, and only then realize that Hamza is no longer behind them. They shout his name. Listen. Nothing. Not even a distant reply. On the forest floor, there is a single object that was not there before. The camera, lying on its side. The lens cracked. The red light still on. Recording. Adil picks it up, his hands shaking. He plays the last seconds. It shows his own back and Sarah's shoulder as they walk ahead, talking, unaware. Then the camera tilts as Hamza turns, as if he hears something behind him. There is a faint whisper, too low to make out. The footage blurs. The camera drops, lands on the ground, angled toward the canopy. The last thing it captures is a glimpse of something tall and long-limbed, moving between the branches. Not on them, between them, as if the space itself has become a path. Now, there are only 2. Adil and Sarah. The forest no longer feels like a place they can escape. It feels like a mouth that has already begun to close around them. They no longer talk about reaching the car. They speak in short, flat sentences about moving, about not stopping, about staying together. Sarah clutches the straps of her bag so tightly her knuckles turn white. Adil keeps the camera strapped to his chest, not to film, but as if recording proof will somehow matter. The voices start again as the light fades toward another night, but now they are different, louder, no longer patient. The forest calls all 3 missing names, Noor, Hamza, and then Adil hears his own name. Sarah hears hers. The voices overlap, crash into each other. Some sound like strangers, others like family, some like the friends who are gone. The woods are full of them, crowding in from every direction. Coming closer, that at one point, Sarah stops and presses her hands over her ears, her eyes wide and unfocused. She says she hears her father. The exact words he used the night she first stayed out too late. She hears him calling from the trees, telling her to come home, telling her it is late, telling her he is waiting. Adil grabs her shoulders, shakes her gently, tells her it is not real, that her father is miles away, that the forest is wearing his voice like a mask. She cries and nods and keeps moving. Night falls fully, and they are forced to stop, their bodies too exhausted to continue. They do not bother with tents. They sit back to back near the thick trunk of an unfamiliar tree. No fire, no light, only the glow of the camera screen. The forest crowding in tight around them. They take turns watching, one resting while the other keeps their eyes open. but neither truly sleeps. At some point in the night, the forest changes again. The voices go quiet all at once. The silence is sudden, sharp, like a door closing. The air grows colder, not the gentle chill of night, but a deep, biting cold that seeps into bone. Their breath comes out in pale clouds. Even though it is not winter, Adil's fingers go numb. Sarah's teeth begin to chatter. They huddle closer, but the cold does not care. Then they both hear it. At the same time, not a voice. Not this time. Something else. A slow, rhythmic sound, like a heavy footstep. That is not quite a footstep. Each one faint but clear, coming from somewhere in front of them. Then another from the side, then another from behind. Soft thumps against the earth, measured, deliberate, circling them for a long moment. Neither of them moves. The sound continues, pacing, surrounding, as if something large is walking in a slow ring around their tree, never stepping close enough to be seen, always staying just beyond sight. Adil lifts the camera with trembling hands, aims it at the darkness. The night vision shows nothing but trunks and branches. But the sound continues. The sense of being watched intensifies until it becomes almost painful. Finally, something steps into view, not on the screen, but in their direct vision, at the very edge of the faint starlight that trickles through the canopy. A shape, taller than any person, its limbs too long, its body thin in a way that defies anatomy, its surface, not skin, not fur, but something like bark and shadow woven together. It has no clear face, yet both Adil and Sarah feel it looking at them, directly, intimately, as if it knows every thought they have tried not to think. It does not rush them. It does not roar. It simply stands there, observing, as if deciding something. Sarah squeezes Adil's arm so tightly her nails break the skin. He feels the sting, but does not look away. The entity tilts what might be its head, and then the voices return, all at once. Not from the trees this time, but from the shape itself. Hundreds of overlapping whispers. Every missing person, every fear, every memory, all poured into their ears at once. Tayyar Nur, calling faintly. Hear Hamza laughing and then choking on his own breath. Hear strangers begging to be let go. Hear children crying. Hear their own voices, pleading, promising, all twisted together. The forest is not just using voices. It is collecting them, keeping them, wearing them like a cloak. Sarah breaks first. She screams and bolts, running into the dark, away from the creature, away from the tree. The entity does not chase. It simply turns its head. Watching her go, Adil shouts her name, his voice cracking. He starts after her, then stops. Something cold and heavy wraps around his ankle. He looks down and sees nothing, but he cannot move his leg. The earth itself has claimed him. Roots that were not there before now curl around his boot, tight and immovable. He falls to his knees, tries to claw at the soil. His fingers dig into damp dirt, but the more he struggles, the deeper his foot sinks, as if the ground has become liquid beneath him. He feels it climbing up his leg, pulling, inviting him downward. The entity steps closer, each movement impossibly smooth. No sound now, no voice. It looms over him, blocking the faint stars. And for the first time, Adil understands that the forest is not haunted by something. The forest is the something. The camera falls from his hands, lands on its side, recording his face, tilted upward, eyes wide. The edges of the frame filled with shifting dark, as the entity bends, almost gently, toward him. The footage captures his last words. Not a scream, not a plea, just a whisper, meant for no one but himself. I should have listened. Then the screen fills with static. Days later, when search teams finally find the car near the edge of Black Hollow, there is no sign of the four friends. Only trampled undergrowth and strange marks on some of the trees. Cuts that weep sap, in patterns that look almost like letters. The police log it as a missing persons case. The forest is too dense, too vast, and after a while, the search scales down, then stops. The camera is found months later by a hunter who never goes back. The footage leaks online. Most people say it is fake. Some say it is the best marketing for a horror film they have ever seen. A few watch it late at night, alone, with their headphones on, and swear that at certain moments the whispers in the background use their name. No one believes them. The old woman at the petrol station still tells anyone who will listen, do not camp near the crooked tree. Do not stay if you hear your name after midnight. And whatever happens, do not answer if the forest speaks first. She never speaks of the four friends directly, but sometimes, on very quiet evenings, when the wind blows from the direction of Black Hollow, she claims she can hear new voices among the leaves, young, frightened, calling for help. And they say that if you stand at the tree line at night and wait long enough, eventually the forest will call your name too, very softly, very gently. Like an old friend you have not seen in years. It will sound so familiar that part of you will want to answer, to step forward, to see who is waiting. That is how it begins. For everyone who enters, that is how it began for them, and the forest remembers every name it learns.